If consistency is in fact key, Kirk Ferentz can unlock pretty much any door on the planet. Iowa heads to its December 30th Music City Bowl matchup with Missouri, coming off a 9th consecutive 8-win season. Hawks have momentum both on the field and in the world of recruiting. And don't forget one very important storyline. A bowl dub would tie Coach Ferentz with Woody Hayes for the all-time win record among Big Ten head coaches. And the big interview takes us to Iowa City as we welcome in head coach Kirk Ferentz. Kirk, first and foremost, congrats on getting another 8 wins, going back to a bowl game, and we appreciate the time. I know this is an insanely busy time of the year for coaches.
It's interesting to say the least. I've done this for a while, and every year is a little bit different. This is certainly unprecedented. Us not being on the road, to start with that. In some ways, it's kind of nice. The signing took place last week. So at least our stuff's a little bit more segmented now, just trying to get the team ready, playing a bowl game, and then obviously seeing if we can supplement our team with maybe some roster improvement.
Kirk, before we get to that bowl game, I want to go back to the end of the regular season because I thought that win over Nebraska was kind of a microcosm of your season. Maybe didn't play an ideal game. You were shorthanded from a roster standpoint, but at the end of the day, you found a way to win. What has defined this season so far for you and the staff?
Yeah, there's some similarities to last year and this year. I think we've had challenges at the quarterback position start there. Things have not gone according to script, so that's been interesting. But yeah, I think the bottom line, the big takeaway is our guys find a way to get things done. And one great thing about football, I think, maybe more so than any other sport, there's a lot of ways to be successful. It's not always a game of statistics. Certainly our last game was a very good example of that. We got outstatted in every regard. But we came up with some big plays when it really counted. We got a strip sack at the end. Drew made a beautiful field goal, did a great job with that. And Caleb Johnson's touchdown was one of the better plays I've seen in 20-some years. So, just those kinds of efforts individually and then, collectively the guys hanging in there and giving us a chance to be there at the end.
In addition to beating Nebraska, you had trophy game wins over Minnesota, over Wisconsin. After a quarter century of coaching in those kind of rivalry games, how special is it still these days to look over and watch the guys celebrating with Floyd, celebrating with the Heartland Trophy?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we do this. It's all about the players. And, the single best part of my job is being on the field with those guys in meeting rooms around the building. That's what you really enjoy. And then obviously our coaching staff, support staff, it's all about the people you're with every day. And that hasn't changed as much as college football has changed. And we're really in a period right now of flux or transition, to say the least. But, all those things are variables that just keep it interesting for sure. But the thing that hasn't changed is just, watching players maybe enjoy the fruits of their labor and seeing them do things that maybe they didn't think were possible months ago.
And one of those rewards, a trip to the postseason. You have the Music City Bowl against Missouri on December 30th. Tigers are 9-3. Only 3 losses came against ranked SEC opposition on the road. What can you tell us from what you've seen so far in scouting Missouri?
Yeah, they've, coincidentally, we were supposed to play them in 2020, and then the game got COVIDed out. But we were supposed to be in Nashville at that point. So we started to, pay closer attention to them back then, and they've done nothing but be very successful since that time. They've had 5 really good years, I believe it is now, under Coach Drinkwitz, and a really good program, good team. We actually watched their bowl game last year, getting ready for our Ohio State game this year, and saw a team that was really well coached and a lot of talent. A lot of those guys are back again. So, it'll be a big challenge for us, no question about that. But it's just nice to have a month together with the team, another month, and one more chance to compete. So we look forward to that. And going to Nashville is always a good deal.
Kirk, you mentioned that outstanding touchdown by Caleb Johnson to help you win the Nebraska game. Caleb announced he won't be playing in the bowl game, getting ready for the NFL draft. How, if at all, does that affect your offensive approach heading into the Music City Bowl?
Well, that was our strength of our team, was the running game this past year. And again, I talked about the challenges we've had at quarterback, but can't say enough about what Caleb has done. And he's been a great young man ever since he joined our program 3 years ago. But he really did a stellar job this year. And it's again, one of the cool things about coaching. You see a guy mature, see his approach change a little bit. He was just so well focused this year on everything he was doing, practice, on the field, off the field. And I think that experience, that maturity, really paid dividends for him. He's always been talented, but this year he learned how to play. He really used those talents to his advantage. But he's the same guy every day in practice or at game time. Just a guy you can count on, and just really, again, happy for him. He had great success. We're gonna have to spread that around now in the bowl game because Caleb won't be with us, but got a good young group of guys there, and they'll do fine. So our approach will probably be the same, but it won't be one guy maybe carrying such a heavy load.
Kirk, as we sit here today, and we both know how much can change in the next 3 weeks of insanity here in college football, what do you envision at the quarterback position in terms of starter, rotation, guys who would be available on December the 30th?
Yeah, I mean, basically we have two guys right now, which is one more than we had a week ago. So that's a positive, at least, healthy. Brandon Sullivan's healthy now, and then Jackson Stratton jumped in and really did a nice job, for a guy that was on the scout team 5 weeks ago. Really did well. So really proud of him and what he did. Those two guys are getting a lot of work this month, which is really a benefit for them. And they'll be the ones that are playing in the game. And we'll see how that all goes. But try to put a plan together that's hopefully effective. And then we'll see what the new year brings.
Kirk, how difficult is it right now to get ready for a bowl game, scout the opponent, set up your 15 extra practices that you get when you're just coming off National Signing Day? You're now in the portal transfer window, which is open. And in some cases, you don't know which guys are going to be available, going to even be on your roster by the time you get to bowl season. How difficult is this time in terms of preparation for the next game up?
This may sound crazy, but I think it's easier, quite frankly. And I go back to, I remember in 2004, getting on the plane to go down to Orlando. We played LSU, and whatever day it was about 8-9 days out front of the game. And I think I'd seen maybe this much film of LSU. So I went down there and just kind of went in the bunker for a while to get caught up. And the day we flew out, the team flew out, I'd gotten back about 2 a.m. from a recruiting trip in Connecticut, actually. So, I actually feel like, maybe it's a little bit more sane right now. We're grounded for the first time. We can't go out and recruit in December, which is typically the case. So we're actually in our office. Imagine this. We're in our offices actually talking to the guys on our team. It's been kind of refreshing. We got a chance last week to sit down with everybody individually and just, see where they're at and how they're doing, that type of thing, which was great. Now we're starting to practice a little bit on top of it. And, we're going to be involved in the portal to some degree. I can't tell you how much, but hopefully we'll never be, building our team through the portal. So I think it's a reasonable workload that way. And then, the craziness of the portal, that's a different story. But we'll see how it all pans out. And, but at the end of the day, things have a way of working out, I think, if you just, take your time.
So you got to talk to some of your current players last week. You also got to sign a new class. When you finished with National Signing Day last Wednesday, how did you and your staff feel about the guys that are coming into Iowa City?
Really good, Rick. I mean, I'm really pleased with the group, and that's changed too, as you well know. It's almost anticlimactic now in the winter time to make announcements because, for the most part, our guys were committed probably by mid-July. The guys that we have, and it's kind of the way it works here. They come here and they like it or they don't like it, and it usually works. There's usually not a lot of drama, which is okay with me. And, the guys we get, I think, are meant to be here. And so, just really happy about the class overall. It's not a big class, 15 guys joining. A lot of similarities to the years past where these guys are multi-sport athletes, typically team captains, those types of things. And hopefully they'll be great fits if they're given positions with our football team. So anxious to have them come. We'll have, a handful, 7 guys show up in January, and then the rest of them will be here in June. So that'll hit time and place. But just really happy about the class, and most importantly, I think it's a good fit both ways, and that's what you're looking for.
All right, Kirk, let's finish here. I know you'd rather be part of the playoff instead of talking with me about it, but from the viewpoint of someone who's seen so many changes in college football, this is one of the most recent. What do you think about how we got to where we are, and if anything else needs to be changed moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, really what I think isn't going to matter. I don't think in terms of changing, but my guess is we'll expand it even more in the near future. I'll go back to when we went to 4, from 2 to 4. I don't think that helped our game, me personally, the game of college football. I would have preferred to stay at 2. There's always going to be somebody mad about, how come we're not number 2 instead of 3, or why are we 5 not 4? We've seen those arguments, but if we were not going to go stay at 2, then I'm all for expansion. I think that's good, and if we want to keep going, I'm okay with that too. I am a traditionalist. I liked the bowl system the way it was, and it's not the end of the day. Maybe if you can't make that top 2 list, but anyway, so there's a lot of good things in college football, and I think this has been positive. I was kind of amused, about the argument about who's 12, 13, 14 last week, but you're always going to have those discussions. But I think if we're going to go down that road, you might as well open it up, let everybody go, and we'll just see how it goes. But I think everybody's dealing with it fine, and it's probably good for college football.
Always great to catch up with Kirk Ferentz. Kirk, wishing you and the family happy holidays. Look forward to watching you guys in the Music City Bowl at the end of the month.
Appreciate it, Rick. Happy holidays to everybody. Thank you.